Rock and roll was culturally and socially, its place and its importance and its reverence was a lot different than today.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's one thing I think is cool about hip hop music is the hip hop stars have taken over that kind of attitude.
Yes.
Which when I see their fashion and I see, you know, I mean, there's lots of hip hop's not one thing, of course.
Right.
And I'm 57. I like what I like. You know, I like old records anyway. But when I hear new things that I like, and I'm like, okay, so they're singing about drugs, they're singing about sex, and, you know, they're singing about, you know, maybe I can't really identify with the violence of poverty and stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the extreme nature of some of it. But that's another form of rebellion as well.
Yeah, and isn't it? Hip hop itself is an interesting art form because there's not a push to popify it. You know, like the hardcore hip hop artists are very successful.
Yeah.
And the lyrics are rough.
Yeah.
You know, they're very hard edged lyrics, but yet these are the lyrics that, you know, get millions and millions of views. You can't even say millions of sold albums anymore because it's like that had to be the weirdest thing. To watch the sale of albums evaporate.
Not just the sale, you're absolutely correct. Not just the sale, but the meaning of a record.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know, and again, in the big scheme of things, the record business isn't as old as, say, you know, writing or whatever. But in the way that we would listen to music and you would, you know, there's a company that would find talent and put that whole thing. But yeah, making a record and saying, okay, we're songwriters. This is our latest work. This is what we've been working on. This is our craft, and this is our talent and our poetry and this is what we want to say. Now it's like, you know, an album. You know what I mean? Like, I personally think that it's still an important medium, and I've yet to give up on it. You know what I mean? If they said, right, you know, oh, you know what I mean? What am I? That's what Rich and I've always done. We write songs. It was one of the only things, again, the way we could experience the world was through that. Because he's, you know, as crazy as me, just doesn't talk as much. You know, not crazy, but I mean different. You know. Artists, you know.
I think it resonates with a lot of people, which is why there's this resurgence of vinyl, right? Like, people still want to listen to actual vinyl. They still want to see an actual album, you know.
Agreed.
And there's a lot of, like, looking at that. There's a lot of reminiscing from people that are, like, my age and your age that were around when these things were the way you consumed music.
I've been buying records since I was 12 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it was weird. Maybe that's because my mom and dad had a lot of records. But, you know, my wife and I, we just moved just around the block in L.A. And we've been together 7 years, but we kept our records separate. I don't know. We have thousands and thousands. I just put 4,000 records in storage because we don't have space for them.
Wow.
But I'm like, but it's funny because no matter what, I see a record store, I'm going in, and I could, and you know, after however many years of buying records, I know what I'm looking for, and I don't buy records online very much. I still like
to. How come?
I don't know. I'm like a kid when if I've been looking for something and I see it, I'm like, I get a shot of like endorphins. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm looking around like I don't want anyone to, you know.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's geeky stuff. It's nerd stuff, but the record store was really important to me as a young person and a musician because before you could go on your phone or before the algorithm, whatever, like there's another person that looks cool. Like, oh, you know what I mean? Like they have Chelsea boots on or like a cool band T-shirt. In the suburbs back in the 80s, it wasn't like, you know what I mean? If you saw someone, you took the chance to be like, when you'd go to their house and look through their records, you know what I mean? And it's funny that it's still that way. You know what I mean? I have so many friends in my life, and we're friends because of records. You know what I mean? And